It's yoga. Hi. Started a little bit early to check in on volume and visual. Looks like we've got one on today. We'll give people just a moment to hop on to the live stream. Obviously, if you're watching post live, there's no need to wait, but I'm waiting. My name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios here in snowy Vermont. What do we have in store today? Today we have in store, thank you for checking sound and vision, awesome. Today we have in store balance. Now, you might say, I'm really crappy at balance, and that is perfectly fine. We're going to work a little bit in seated balance, a little bit in kneeling balance, and a little bit in standing balance. We'll still flow. But you can always use a wall gently, or I happen to have a pole there if I ever needed that, not for pole dancing. You can use blocks for the seated or the kneeling, and you can also use rolls of toilet paper as long as they have a core piece to them. And then, of course, there's always, if you have a cushion, like this lovely Nancy red cushion here, you can utilize that either to sit on or to support you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Yoga Intermissions. It's Saturday if you are live, and we are celebrating the power of the breath, the drishte, which you might never have heard of before, or maybe you're very familiar with it, a focused gaze, and the use of the core muscles and the glutes. And you might say, I don't really know what my core muscles are. And that is totally cool. The basis of the core is working the core is to feel like you're lifting the pelvic floor as if you're sort of holding it in on a long car ride, and drawing the navel in and up. Once I warm up, I'll take off some of these layers, but we're going to go ahead and get started in a comfortable seat. Comfortable sort of meditative position, if you can, would involve having the legs crossed. I'm going to switch the cross of my legs because I have them crossed in my habitual way. Hands resting somewhere, lap, thighs, knees, palms up or down. A little bit of space made with the elbows so that you can almost imagine that you're making the goldfish bowl a little bit bigger so you can make the breath a little bit bigger. The breath is the goldfish. And the chin tucks a little bit. We let the spine get elongated with the breath. I was just reading some commentary on social media this morning about the need for breath. And in fact, I received the gift of a book called Breath today, the science behind it. So maybe you take a few moments to be a little bit in awe of the power of the breath. And as you breathe, let the breath fill the whole body from the toes all the way to the top of the head. And know that one of the tips and tricks for balance, keep the breath really slow and steady. It's antithetical to the automatic response of the body to speed the breath if you feel like you're in danger. Go ahead and block the right nostril with the thumb, right thumb, and rest the middle finger on the left nostril. We breathe in through the left nostril. Maybe place the index finger on your third eye. Breathe out through the right, closing the left. Again, block the right, breathe in left. Close the left, breathe out right. Third time's a charm, into the left. And out right. Working to balance the nadis, our energy channels. And this time, inhale right. Block right gently, exhale left. Inhale right. Breathe out left. And once again, right. Left. Hand can drop, breathe in through both nostrils. Breathe out through the nose. 2 more times. And return to a natural breath, whatever that means for you now. At this moment, you might have your eyes closed, and even with the eyes closed, it's an opportunity for drishte, a steady internal gaze. That is your second tip and trick for balances, finding a spot, a something unmoving to focus all of your gaze on. Consider now an intention, or maybe the reason you came to your mat. Perhaps that is what you set for yourself as your intention for the entirety of this practice, 50 minutes. Press the palms together at your heart. We'll celebrate and surround ourselves with our intentions and motivations as if we could create a little cushion for practice. We'll do so using Om. That could be a silent Om riding on your exhale, or maybe it's a full chant of Om. A cleansing breath first, deep full breath in. Open the mouth, sigh it away. Big filling breath. Drop the backs of the hands to the thighs. Drop the chin to the chest. Let it hang there. See how much closer you can get the chin toward the chest. And shrug the shoulders up by the ears, breath in. Press the shoulder blades behind you and down, breath out. A little pendulum movement of the head, the chin moves toward the right shoulder. As you exhale, chin drops down. Inhale, chin toward the opposite shoulder. Doesn't really matter where you started. Chin drops down. Lift the chin, breath in. Breath out, turn your head over one shoulder. Take a full round of breath. Exhale, maybe you find a little bit more space to twist. Inhale, chin front and center. Exhale, chin opposite shoulder. Full round of breath. Chin returns front and center. If you are sitting on something, I recommend you remove yourself from it. We're going to do a little seated balance, not our full boat pose, Navasana. Bringing the soles of the feet to the earth and knees pointing toward the sky. This is a place where you can start to really feel the core. If you're not working your core, you may find a tightness in your quads or a lot of kind of dumping energy into the low back. So bring your hands to your knees and lift the heart, drawing the pelvis forward. Press the big toe mounds of the feet into the earth. Sometimes the shoulders love to sneak up by the ears, so we're going to drop those down as well. Lift the heart a little bit, almost as if it's coming right in front of the forehead and up like it's attached to a star. Here, take the hands behind the thighs and slowly float the right leg off the earth, bringing the shin parallel to the earth. Not a super balance, but really working the muscles of the balance. See if you can activate your glutes, your belly, and your pelvic floor. And maybe that right leg lengthens a little bit. My hamstrings are not super open, so I have a little bend in my knee. So this is what it starts to feel like to balance in a seat. And it's using some of the same tips and tricks, if you will, components of standing balance, long, slow breath. See if you can rise up, lifting the front heel, the low heel, the left heel off the earth. And then bring it down and drop your right foot. Lift the heart, draw the pelvis forward, press the feet into the earth, and lift the left leg off the earth, parallel with the shin. And we reach the heel forward. Working the thigh, activate the glutes. Now see if you can extend the leg a little bit. Lift that heart, drop the shoulders, and the foot returns to the earth. Cross your legs, roll over your ankles, and come to tabletop. Here we'll find a balance that we typically start class with. Not always, but often. I'm warming up. If you know the power of warming up the large muscles, the rest of the body starts to get warm as well. The hands come under the shoulders, the fingers are nice and wide. If your sleeves tuck underneath you, you can lift them away. Knees right under the hips. Press the tops of the feet to the earth and spread your toes. Now see if you can do a little push-up just with the center of the palm, like the center of the palms lifting from the earth. On an inhale, the right leg floats behind you. This is balance, working to bring equilibrium into the hips so they stay square to the mat. Reach your right heel behind you. Pause. This might be plenty for you. Maybe you're working your hamstrings and your glutes and your belly and your pelvic floor already. And if you are, even if you aren't, go ahead and do that and float the left arm in front and kneeling balance. Really work the glutes, reach the fingertips in front and the heel behind. We're going to find a glute stretch, bringing the left hand to the earth. Take a peek over the left shoulder. Sweep your right leg over your left calf. Bring the top of the foot to the earth and slide the front of the right hip toward the left heel. You might come to your forearms and drop your head, pressing energy into the forearms as if you're drawing the mat toward your hips, making some real estate between your shoulders. If you're not feeling anything in the left glutes, you might sink a little deeper. Don't let the belly just hang out there on your left calf. You're going to lift it up a little bit. Energetically, it doesn't mean it's away from the flesh. This time we're going to return, crawling the hands forward a little bit into a forearm tabletop. Finding a little cat-cow shape. To a neutral spine, returning to tabletop. We'll take all those shenanigans to the other side. We're working not for a sway back here, not for a rounded back here, but for as flat a back as possible, as if we could place something precious on the spine. The spine itself is so precious, and we wouldn't drop it. This time, left leg floats behind. Notice any shifting into the hips. See if you can use the shoelace side of that right foot to help, and the palm of the left hand, in addition to powering up the left glutes and the hamstrings, drawing the pelvic floor and the navel in and up. Right arm floats in front. So we started with our seated balance. Now is a great time to notice drishte, a focused gaze. I'm looking right at a spot on my mat. Maybe my mat needs to be clean, but there's a spot there that I can gaze at. Right hand returns to the earth. A peek over the right shoulder. A sweep of the left leg around to the right. Top of the foot on the ground. And the front of the left hip glides toward the right heel. I've run out of space a little bit here. Finding the forearms on the mat. And noticing the stretch in the right glutes. Mostly gluteus medius and gluteus maximus. Sounds like a cartoon. The new Avengers with gluteus maximus. As we work to unhook the left leg, we crawl the arms forward a little bit, coming to a forearm tabletop, and find our forearm cat-cow. Return to tabletop. I'm going to remove one more layer. You're welcome to join me if you have other layers to suffice. Yeah, powering up for balance. Hands walk forward. Toes tuck under. We shift the knees off the mat just a couple of inches, working the core again. So draw the pelvic floor up. Draw the navel in and up, and then send the sitting bones toward the heels. We're powering up the quads. Drop your head. Slowly lower the heels to the earth as you lift the hips toward the sky. Downward dog. Yeah, pedal into the dog, finding what it feels like to be here, to be now, to be down in the dog. And some stillness. Rise up to the tiptoes, bend the knees a lot, walk the hands to the feet, a forward fold at the back of your mat. The knees stay bent, maybe deeply or maybe not. Ragdoll if you got it, if that feels right. Head is like a boulder. Lower back is comfortable because you are being kind to it. Hands release to the earth. Glide the fingertips up to the shins. A half lift. That could be a breath out or in. We pause here. Full round of breath. Long, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. If you have a difficulty with your low back, you'll breathe out to rise up, pressing the floor away. This in itself is working balance in the feet. Slowly, 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 the sunflower rises up. The face turns to the sky, arms lift high. Samasthihi, exhale, hands to your heart. Again, hands drop, mountain pose for a moment to Tadasana. Arms lift wide and high. And take a hold of the right wrist with the left fingertips and give it a little tug, getting nice and tall. Balancing our energy foot to foot, a tilt over to the left. Stretching open the right side of the body from the outer edge of the foot all the way to the pinky finger. Heart toward the sky. Inhale, lift up, separate the hands, twinkle the fingers like you're tickling the clouds. Grasp your left wrist, a little tug, breathe in. Exhale, a tilt to the right. Inhale, rise up, fingers and hands separate. Exhale, hands to your heart. Before we move to the front of the mat, consider that walking itself is a balance. We're going to take it a little bit differently. Instead of moving heel to toe or flat-footed, we're going to start with the toe moving to the heel. Whichever foot you'd like to start with, a slow lift of the heel and a movement onto the toes. Now what happens if you just loosen the belly? You're pressing a lot of energy into the toes. Draw the belly in, activate the glutes a little bit, and lift the leg off the mat, stepping forward onto your toes to your heel. Shifting weight into the left foot. This is a balance. We slowly come to the toes of the other foot, gathering the belly, the glutes, the hamstrings. Right knee lifts or the opposite knee lifts. We shift the foot forward, toe touches down, we draw to the heel. Another time, coming to the toes of the opposite foot, engage the belly, shift the foot off the mat, reach it forward, toes down, middle of the foot and heel one more time. Opposite leg until both feet come together at the top of your mat. Beautiful. You might keep the feet a little bit apart, finding a chair pose, Utkatasana with the hands at your heart. Shift your energy into your heels. We're going to work the balance here a little bit. So long, slow, steady breath. Belly in and up. Glutes activated. Gaze. 6 to 8 feet in front of you on something unmoving. Lift up to the balls of the feet. Sit deeper into your chair. Keep the belly going, thighs like they're spinning toward each other. We're going to see if we can slowly, keeping the heels off the earth, come all the way down, bringing the sitting bones toward the heels. Woo! And slowly rise back up. If you happen to fall out of it, it's just yoga. Heels return to the earth, rise up. Hands intertwined behind you, opening up the collarbones. The chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together. If your lowest ribs just jutted way in front of you, you're going to tuck them toward your hips. You might need to adjust your feet to make all of this work appropriately for you. Take your intertwined hands and bring them closer to your left hip, sort of winging out that left elbow, and drawing the right elbow toward the right side of the waist. We're going to start to take a little twist over to the left. And then once you're at your edge, breathe in and out. And see if you can lift the right elbow away from the right side of the waist. Return front and center. Shift the hands to the opposite side. So the intertwined knuckles or fingers move toward the right hip. The left elbow pressed toward the left side of the waist. We take a turn all the way to the right. At the edge, we take one more round of breath, seeing if we can get a little more out of it. And the left elbow lifts away from the left side of the body. This, by the way, is great for golfers. I'm not a golfer. And we turn front and center. This time, hands toward the middle of the back, and then we drop the knuckles downward, opening up a little bit more. Drop back into modified chair. Maybe come back to the balls of the feet, finding your drishte, your long, slow breath, your belly and your pelvic floor working. Sit a little deeper. Drop the heels, fold over your legs, maybe with bent knees remaining. Next, exhale, hands release to the earth. Fingers crawl forward. We draw back to the balls of the feet, or maybe even the toes, lifting the heels way, way up. Draw the belly in. Scooch the left foot to the back of the mat. Stay on the ball of the right to start. And then slowly find your way to your runner's lunge. Right heel returns to the mat. I'm moving my right foot out to the right to increase the power of the foundation and finding a little bit more length between the feet. You're on your fingertips, reaching the left heel behind, behind, behind. Extend the front leg, fold over it. Breathe in, peel forward, runner's lunge, shoulders toward the hips. Exhale, extend and fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, extend and fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. Hands creep forward 2 inches. Press into the front foot. Lift the left leg. Standing on the right, maybe with a micro bend or a macro bend, a standing split. Activate the ball of the lifted foot. Draw your knee to your nose. Parsvottanasana. Left foot steps down in a warrior one kind of angle. We work to find the right hip moving behind us.
Once again, the hands crawl forward. We shift the left knee toward the nose. Reach the left leg back into your half split. And let it touch down way behind you. Drop your left knee. Rise up, Anjaneyasana, knee down lunge. Also a balance. Arms can float overhead. If you're feeling imbalanced, if you feel wobbly, remember that weebles wobble but they don't fall down, but sometimes yogis do. We're going to move the right foot out to the right. Maybe scooch it forward a little bit. And shift around if need for that back knee. Mine feels a little crunchy. It might be on a seam on the floor. So how do we safely find this balance and back bend? Actually, it's a triple play. A balance, a back bend, and an opening of the left psoas, the front hip flexor. We tuck the tailbone, press the belly in and up, activate the left glutes and hamstrings, lift the heart, east-west pose, left arm forward, right arm behind. And if you're gripping the mat with your front toes, go ahead and loosen them up. Let the body find the balance. Press into the heel of the front foot and the shoelace side of the back foot. Deepen the twist, left hand down, right arm high. Don't forget that right knee points straight forward, so maybe the right arm doesn't come straight to the sky. My shoulder's a little grumpy, so I'm going to bring the heel of the hand to the low back. Exhale, right hand down to the mat, half split, left hip over the left knee. The right foot comes forward so you can extend that leg. You might have enough core strength to lift the heel off the mat to do that, or maybe you use your hands. Working here toward the long spine, so you don't need to worry about dropping the head super close to the knee or the shin. Draw the right pinky toe, side of the foot toward the right shoulder. The sole of the right foot comes to the earth. Hands come inside the right foot so we can tuck the back toes under. Lift that back knee off the earth. Spin to the long edge of your mat, finding your wide-legged forward fold at the long edge. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Maybe you're on your fingertips for a half lift. Gather the belly in. Press the floor away with the feet to lift the hips, find a fold. And maybe you shorten or extend your stance. Drop your head. Perhaps the fingers spin to the edge of the mat and walk through the feet. Or maybe it feels better to intertwine the hands behind the occipital lobe and a little extra energy there. The hands return under the shoulders, lift halfway up. Spin to the short edge of your mat. And take a step up of the left foot to meet the right. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rise back up to standing. Arms lift high. Root to rise, sunrise. Exhale, sunset, forward fold. Hands creep forward a couple of inches. You're on your fingertips. Rise to the balls of the feet. Stay on the balls of the feet as you draw the right knee up toward your chest. Reach it far behind you. Reach, reach, reach that leg. Bring the left heel to the mat, standing split. Maybe the hands walk back toward the left leg. My right hamstrings are clearly not very open. I have a super bend in my right knee. But really working the belly, draw the knee to the nose. Inhale, extend. Draw the knee to the nose. Step the foot part way back, Parsvottanasana. Pyramid pose. You might need to move the left foot out to the left a little bit. Draw the left hip behind you. Fingertips crawl forward. Once again, we shift weight into the left foot to float the right leg as high as we can and step it back for our runner's lunge. Adjusting as you need to find that foundation, the triangulation, the most powerful foundation you can create. Exhale, extend the leg, fold over the left leg. Inhale, heart forward, runner's lunge. See if you can peel the belly energy up and away, shoulders toward the hips. Exhale, lengthen and fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, lengthen and fold. We did do things in a little bit of a different order here. Inhale, runner's lunge. And drop the back knee to the earth. Anjaneyasana, knee down lunge. Adjusting as need be for balance. That's one of the things, especially when you're working on things like handstand. Taking the opportunity to be fluid and agile. Walking around on your hands can help you find that balance. We're not going to be looking on handstands today. Ease, west pose, right arm forward, left arm behind. Right arm down, left arm high. I'm bringing my left hand to my low back. Left hand down, half split. Left foot to the earth, back toes tuck under, lift the hips away from the mat, step into a forward fold at the front of your mat. Yogi toe lock, peace fingers around your big toes, maybe a little more space between your feet. Thumbs on the top of the toes, breathe in, half lift, draw the belly away from the thighs, long spine. Exhale, bend your elbows, forward fold. Gently release the bind, float all the way to standing. Muhammad Ali, float like a feather. Arms lift high overhead. Exhale, hands drop to your heart. And what we've been working toward in opening up the hips and the hamstrings is some of the standing balances. So roll around on your feet. Find all four corners as if you had four corners of your feet. Maybe you play around with pressing the toes into the earth, or like the toes are playing a piano, one note at a time. And slowly send the weight a little into the right leg and float the left knee off and up toward the heart. Drishte, slow, steady breath. Fluidity in the right leg. Activate the right glutes and the hamstrings. Activate the belly. Gently lengthen the leg behind you. You don't have to lift it high off the mat. Draw the toes to the earth. See if you can press into that heel to straighten that back leg.
We'll lift the toes off the earth. Send the leg out to the left. Bring the toes to the earth. Glutes super strong. Let the left knee cross the body as if it's coming toward the right elbow. Bring the knee back in front. This time we shift into bird. Heart forward, left leg way behind. As high as you can get it, but it doesn't have to be super high. You can even have a bend in that knee. We're going to step open to a crescent warrior, a balance, left foot down. Right arms float high. Yeah! Now you're talking. That was a nice mid-length balancing sequence that powers up the core. You start to recognize the component parts that support balance. Open up Warrior 2. One of you on here loves Warrior 2, so we don't want to forget that. It's juicy bend in the front knee. Start to feel this opening in the hips, as if the hips are parallel to the long edge of the mat. That's what we're aiming for here, as opposed to twisting the left hip forward and sending the right hip back. Lift the right heel off the mat. Extend deeper into your Warrior 2. Keeping the heel up requires a bit more balance, and the right heel returns to the earth. Flip your front palm for a reverse warrior. And we'll dance this warrior coming into a side angle. Right forearm inside the right thigh. The left arm might sweep so the bicep is over the ear. And we keep going, reaching the left arm to the sky, coming back to Warrior 2, simply to reverse it. Working our way back into side angle, finding your cadence, your dance grace, your flow. Warrior 2. And final time coming into side angle, or if you like, if your hips are open enough, extended side angle with the right arm straight and maybe coming down to a block or the earth. Use the belly, rise up, Warrior 2. Reverse. Hands come to your hips, extend your front leg, step forward to the front of your mat. We'll take all of that to the other side. Our last standing sequence. Not our last stand, not the final stand, but our last standing sequence. That was pretty goofy. Hands at your heart, energy into the left foot, and the right knee reaches up. Taking our time. On this side, I'm working to find my breath and my drishte. Use the belly. Engage the left glutes. Reach the right leg longer behind us. Doesn't have to be far away from the earth. And bring your toes to the earth. Refine your balance. Draw the belly in and up. Activate the glutes. Lift the toes off the mat. Sweep the leg out to the right. Big toe comes back down. We're activating the glutes and the hammies. The right knee as if it's coming to the left elbow. Activate the foot, bring the knee around front. Airplane or bird shape. Taking your time, finding that spot to gaze at. Right leg reaches as far behind us as we can get it. Left glutes and hammies super active. Step back, crescent warrior. Lower back, glutes, belly like you mean it. Open up, Warrior 2. My Warrior 2 has much more space front to back on my feet than my Crescent Warrior, so feel free to play with that. Left knee moves away from the midline. Lift the left heel. Sink deeper into your Warrior 2. Pause. Feel the adductors and the abductors working for you. Drop the heel. Adductors move away. Sorry, adductors move toward one another, toward the center. Abductors move away. Flip your front palm, reverse. Side angle. Find your grace, your dance, your flow. Warrior two. Reverse. Side angle, glutes and belly working for you still. We don't let them just hang out there. Finding your flow, back to warrior two. One more reverse before moving into side angle or extended side angle. Don't forget about that back knee. You gotta let the glutes and hamstrings work for you. Warrior two. We'll hang out here for a full round of breath. Reverse. Hands to your hips, spin onto the ball of the back foot. Plant your hands around your front foot, step back, high plank. Downward dog, press the hips high, use the belly. Slow peel forward, high plank. Knees drop. Untuck the toes. Hips right over the knees, walk the hands forward, Anapatasana. This is difficult for you to bring your forehead or your chest to the earth. You might grab some sort of prop to help with that. Or maybe simply tightness in the back or the chest. Return to your intention or your motivation here. Notice that setting that intention can have an impact on how you approach your practice. Even if you set it and forget it. Scoop the belly in and the tailbone down. Walk the hands backward, come to child's pose. You might decide to take this narrow knee, Balasana 1, or maybe wide knee, Balasana 2. And if you take narrow knee, bring the top of the head to the earth. Big toes touch. Sweep the hands around so they connect with your feet. Let the shoulders round toward the earth. Breathe into your sacrum. Plant your hands under the shoulders. Make your way all the way to a seat. Much like we started, we're going to bring the soles of the feet to the earth with the knees pointing toward the sky. Hands can come to the kneecaps with the fingers pointing down. This helps us lift the heart. We don't just lift from the heart, we lift from the low belly, drawing it in and up. We continue to tilt the pelvis a little forward to lengthen the low back. We're going to work our way into Navasana, boat pose. This time your choice as it was at the beginning, although we only did one leg at a time. This time we're going to do two. You can keep the shins parallel or extend the legs. So you might walk backward with the toes to come to your sacrum.
Maybe this is enough balance for you, or maybe you just play around one leg at a time, lifting off the earth. Or perhaps with the hands behind your knees, you can shift the feet off the floor. Maybe that's enough. Work the belly in and up, and you take all of the nasty energy that starts to dump into the low back. And maybe one leg at a time, the shins come parallel. And maybe this is plenty. Or maybe the hands can face upward, reaching away from the thighs. And maybe, I'm not going to do this one, but maybe your legs extend. We're going to breathe here. 3. Lift the heart. 2. And 1. Tuck the right heel underneath the left thigh and bring the sole of the left foot to the earth. Keep that right heel tucked as close as you can. If you like half Lord of the Fishes pose and that's accessible to you right now, it is not to me at the moment, you can place the left foot outside the right thigh. I'm going to keep my left foot where it is, and we'll all take the left fingertips, place them behind the left glute, sit up super tall. Open up the collars, breathe in, exhale for a twist over to the left. You're dropping that right knee down, bringing the big toe mound of the left foot to press to the earth, wherever that foot is. Lower the shoulders. Return front and center. Regardless of where you are, take the right shin and make it as parallel to the front of the mat as you can, and activate the foot. So the toes and the heels are in the same plane. We're going to lift the left knee toward the heart, plop the left foot onto the right thigh, and use the right hand to work the sole of the left foot, maybe sort of facing the sky, maybe it doesn't quite face the sky, and it starts to open up that left hip a little bit more. Stacked logs, or if you happen to have a half lotus or a full lotus, you're welcome to take that here. I have lots of space between my knee and my foot, so I'm sticking with stacked logs. If that's too much for you, you could always place a prop between the two, which makes you feel a little more comfortable. We're going to open up the heart, imagining that maybe someone's taking 2 fingers each along your collarbones and softening the shoulders backward. We'll take all those shenanigans to the other side, but first, Navasana. Soles of the feet onto the earth, knees toward the sky, belly strong, heart lifts, hands behind the knees, crawl the toes back, one leg at a time lifts. Maybe this is plenty, or maybe the hands float away, maybe the legs extend. Heart is lifting. 2, left heel underneath the right glute and thigh, and the right foot comes to the earth. Get that left heel as close as you can to the body. And we'll take our twist, right hand behind, lift the heart, tuck the pelvis forward, breathe out, twist to the right. Big toe onto the right foot, press to the earth, really use those adductors. We're adding to our center by using the inside of the thigh to draw the right knee toward the center. Not so much that it's tilting toward the center, but enough that the adductors are activated. Come front and center, left shin parallel to the front of the mat, and we find stacked logs on this side. This is our last seated upright position. Maybe your left hand helps that right foot. Removing any proppage. We bring the soles of the feet back to the earth. Lower, rounding the spine all the way to the mat. And maybe giving a nice hug of the knees into the heart. A little rock left and right. And make your way into your final resting posture. Woohoo! Even here, maybe there's a feeling that you're balancing on the earth. Isn't it so cool? The earth is a globe. And the thing that's kind of holding us in place is gravity. Not kind of, it actually is. So that we're not rolling forward or backward or sideways. Arms flop open. Shoulder blades rest on the earth. Find our way into breath, our drishte, our focused gaze, internal. Shavasana. Body heavy on the earth. Front body and crown of the head light toward the sky. Now we take a really deep, full breath in as you could feel every single nook and cranny in the body. Breathe in. Open the mouth, relieve any remaining tension. Find your way onto one side. It doesn't matter which side. Take your time, letting the knees bend first. Maybe shifting the hips second, till you roll onto your side. On your side, return to your intention or motivation. You picture someone in your life, maybe it's someone you know or someone you don't know very well. Someone who could use a little extra love today. A little celebration that they are alive. Press yourself to a comfortable seat. And let the palms find their home together at your heart. We'll close our practice with the sound of Om. Exhaling all the air from the lungs. Breathe in. Thumb knuckles connect right at the center forehead. You are loved. You give love. Namaste. With heartfelt thanks to each of you who joined live and who joins on this recording. My name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios. Please like us, share that these classes exist, especially for folks who are low on funds or don't have funds. We also have some other awesome classes. Tuesday night vinyasa, Friday night spa yoga, and if you are local, eventually when the snow is gone, we will be adding some outdoor classes. I hope you have a great remainder of your day or evening and your week. So long. Thank you. Thanks for the birthday cake too. Bye.